Hello there. I'm going to be talking some more about the verses on the faith mind by the third Zen patriarch, Sensang. So, moving on a bit, I'm moving to some lines that say this. To deny the reality of things is to miss their reality. To assert the emptiness of things is to miss their reality. The more you talk and think about it, the further astray you wander from the truth. Stop talking and thinking, and there is nothing you will not be able to know. So, some more mysterious lines. So, to deny the reality of things is to miss their reality. So, this is referring to a common misunderstanding in Buddhism. So, we're meant to see everything as unreal. In what way are we meant to see everything as unreal? Clearly, things exist, at least have a relative existence. Well, the thing about seeing things as real is that we fix them. We see them as solid and as permanent. So we need, through the eyes of wisdom, to see everything as impermanent and insubstantial. That although we have got all these concepts, these words for things that we see and things around us, they are only words and concepts. They're things that we assign in order to be helpful for our lives. So, for instance, a cup is something that we believe we can drink out of. But, I drop the cup in 1 second, and where's the cup? Is it in those bits that are lying on the floor, those shards of whatever it was made of? Well, no, of course not. It's no longer a cup. It was only a cup so long as it's suitable to be used as a drinking vessel. Or maybe the cup has got really dirty. It's had all sorts of things in it, and we now use it to store our paintbrushes, for example. And now no longer are we likely to call it a cup. Maybe we call it our brush pot. So, you get the idea. Basically, we give names to things and we kind of fix them as if they had a true and ultimate and persisting existence. So when we see things as unreal, it's as if we are seeing through into almost to the atoms that it's made up of. We're seeing that nothing is fixed, that everything is in process, you could say. And nothing does exist in that way, in that everything is a process. I'm a process and you're a process. I'm looking at myself now, talking to you, and it looks to me like I'm fairly solid and enduring. But, any minute now I could have a heart attack and that would be it. I would be a corpse. I would no longer be Vajraguptā as people know me. And we're not really in touch with this sense of insubstantialness, of things being very fragile. So, coming back to the words, to deny the reality of things is to miss their reality. So things have a colour, a shape, an influence on us, and we want to enjoy that. We want to enjoy life. Buddhism isn't telling us to look around and pretend there's nothing there. So life is very rich, and we should enjoy it. We should make the most of it, but also see through it. So we don't need to deny the reality of things. So to deny the reality of things is to miss their reality. But to assert the emptiness of things is to miss their reality. So we mustn't fall into dualistic thinking. So, yes, I can give a talk on emptiness, but actually things still have a relative existence. We shouldn't deny the reality of things or assert their emptiness. And I think that word assert there is very telling, because it kind of reminds me of how fixed we can get in our ideas, the ideas we have about the world, even the ideas we have about Buddhism. So, it's very hard to talk about emptiness, because what's it really saying? What is emptiness? It's seeing through all the layers of constructs that we put on things to make them in our minds permanent, enduring, reliable, and to loosen up that. So we don't want to misunderstand emptiness and assert that it's something that it's not. So to assert the emptiness of things is to miss their reality. The more you talk and think about it, the further astray you wander from the truth. So that is a warning. We can understand, and of course it's good to understand the concepts of Buddhism. To understand, we need to look at the philosophy of Buddhism and look at what the Buddha said and understand it. But you can tie yourself in knots. You can make the kind of arguments that are endless, and also arguments that go nowhere because you can't prove anything. So, this keeps us grounded. And we talk in a way far too much. I know I'm talking here, but, hopefully it has some grain of truth in it. But, actually we need to have times at least when we do stop talking and thinking. And we're never going to work everything out. So sometimes, people say to me, well, I've got all these difficulties, or I've got a difficult background and I want to understand it all. And when I meditate, that's what comes up, and maybe I should focus on that. And that's a tricky one, because, we're not going to deny any of our experience when we meditate, but you're never going to get to the bottom of everything. We're never going to completely understand ourselves, the whys and wherefores of how we are, how we've arrived like we are. And actually meditation isn't really the place to try and do that, because it's endless. It's a bottomless pit. So, there may be other places like going into therapy and finding out, getting some understanding about our background, about how we've arrived with the conditions that we've had in our lives. But we're never going to get to the bottom of everything. And we need a sense of spaciousness in meditation if we're going to allow something else to come up. So stop talking and thinking, and there is nothing you will not be able to know. Well, that's very mysterious, isn't it? So by stopping talking and thinking, there's nothing that we won't know. And I really do believe this is true, because what happens really is that we learn how to listen to the silence. And sometimes you've probably heard me talking about listening to presence. Listening to presence. You could almost talk about listening to metta, trusting that actually there is something mysterious. There are things that we don't really understand. And sometimes when we worry our mind with thinking about things, don't get me wrong, thinking is very useful, and there's a lot of thinking we do need to do, but we have to go beyond thinking as well, into direct experience of our awareness. And that means sitting with a sense of spaciousness and waiting for the small voice of silence that wants to be heard. I know that's very mysterious, but if you can allow yourself to do that, you'll probably be surprised at what emerges, and we find out more about ourselves in that way. Anyway, that's enough for today. Bye for now.